In this video, I will be discussing English metric conversions. First, I will kind of give you a background as to why it's really important to understand them. I will also give you a few guidelines, and then I will also be demonstrating a few problems. So, understanding the metric system is important because the United States is one of the only industrialized countries that does not use the metric system as their primary measurement system. In regards to chemistry, it is important to be able to convert English measurements to the metric system because it allows for more accurate measurements, which is clearly important in the field of chemistry. It is also the most regularly used system by the scientists worldwide. In regards to this particular chemistry class, it is important because unit conversions can be found in the vast majority of the problems you will see on your homework, your test, and also some of the calculations for lab. It uses a unit factor problem solving method that can be applied to approximately a third of all mathematic problems in all of the sciences. A few guidelines that might be beneficial throughout solving these problems is, 1, it is important to distinguish what you were given and also distinguish what you were looking for. It is always beneficial to establish a sense of direction when completing the conversions. It is also important to remain consistent with the unit labels in order to avoid potential miscalculation or confusion. As always, pay attention to significant digits. It is important to memorize the units to memorize for chemistry sheet that was given to you at the beginning of class because the likelihood of you being able to use it on a test is very, very, very slim. And also having them memorized will speed up the calculation process. I will now demonstrate 5 different unit conversion problems. My method for solving these problems is similar to the one that you would have learned in class, but I do tend to go about the problems slightly different than what you're probably used to seeing, but it's okay because it provides another perspective as well as another method to solve the problem. In the first 3 problems, you will put the given measurement over 1 and then add a set of parentheses around it. What I mean by that is if your problem, you were given 25 miles. So you'll put your given over 1 and then add a set of parentheses. The next step that you're going to do is you are going to match the units diagonally, starting at the top and going to the bottom. What I mean by that is we have miles at the top here, so diagonally going from the top to the bottom, you will need to match the units again, which again is miles. So you think you could go ahead and do 1 mile. The next step that you're going to do is you are going to match the equivalents vertically, going from the bottom to the top. So 1 mile is equal to 5,280 feet. You will continue this process until you reach the units that you were asked for, and then you will be completed with your problem. It's always important to remember to put your answer in scientific notation and also to double check your work. I will go ahead and demonstrate a few problems for you now. The first problem that we will cover is 3 miles, and we will convert that to centimeters. As I said, it's important to distinguish your given. In this case, our given is 3 miles, and then what we were looking for is centimeters. Distinguishing these allows you to develop a sense of direction while solving the problem. So what we will do is we will write our given, which is 3 miles, and we will put that over 1 and then add the parentheses. Diagonally, we will match the units. So 1 mile is equal to 5,280 feet. We match these vertically. Now we will match feet diagonally. 1 foot is equal to 12 inches. Matching these equivalents vertically. Now we will match inches diagonally. 1 inch is equal to 2.540 centimeters. As you've noticed, centimeters is what we were looking for, and we have now reached centimeters. So, you multiply everything on the top and divide it by everything on the bottom. Another guideline that you can use and apply to this is that all of this bottom is 1, therefore dividing by 1 would not change the answer. So you only need to divide on something rather than 1. Once you calculate this and you plug it into your calculator, you get 4.828 times 10 to the 5th centimeters. My answer is in scientific notation, so now it's important to go back and double check my work. 3 miles and then 1 mile. 1 mile is equal to 5,280 feet. You match the units, feet to feet. 1 foot is equal to 12 inches. Match the units again. 12 inches is equal to 1 inch, which is equal to 2.540 centimeters. Once you redo everything and double check your answer, you hopefully come out with the same answer as you did the first time. The second problem that we are going to do will be 3.678 times 10 to the negative third pints, and we will be converting that to microliters. 3.678 times 10 to the negative third is our given, and we were trying to find microliters. So, we will begin by writing our given on the top. So 3.678 times 10 to the negative third, writing that over 1, and adding a set of parentheses. We then need to match that diagonally. So pints, we will put pints down here. 2 pints is equal to 1 quart. Matching these equivalents vertically. We now need to match quarts diagonally, and 1.057 quarts will be equal to 1 liter. Matching these vertically. I'm running out of room, so I'm going to move down here. So I'm just going to rewrite what we have over there. So we have 1 liter over 1.057 quarts. I'm going to put brackets around this so that I know I do not need to multiply or divide that when I plug everything into the calculator. So we will need to match liters diagonally. So 1 liter is equal to 10 to the 6th microliters. As you noticed, we were looking for microliters, and we have now reached microliters for our unit. You multiply everything on the top and divide it by everything on the bottom. Once you calculate that with your calculator, you should end up with 1.740 times 10 to the 3rd microliters. My answer is in scientific notation, and now I will go ahead and double check everything that I've done. 3.678 times 10 to the 3rd pints matches 2 pints, which is equivalent to 1 quart. 1 quart matches 1.057 quarts, which is equivalent to 1 liter. 1 liter, as I said, is the 1.057 quarts. And then we got the 10 to the 6th microliters over the 1 liter, which is equivalent also. Double check that again, plug it into your calculator, and if you come out with the same answer, you've done it correctly. I will now do a third problem for you. For the third problem, we will do 9 9.519 centimeters cubed and convert that to quarts. 9.519 centimeters cubed, and quarts is what we are looking for. We will write our given, 9.519 centimeters cubed over 1, and add this set of parentheses. We will match this diagonally. So 1 centimeter cubed is equal to 1 milliliter, matching them vertically. Matching the units, milliliter is equal, and then we will do 10 to the third milliliters is equal to 1 liter. We're going to go ahead and move down so that we have a little more room. So we will do 1 liter, matching them diagonally, is equal to 1.057 quarts. Quarts is the unit that we were looking for, so we have that. It corresponds to what we were given to look for originally. You multiply everything on the top, divide it by everything on the bottom, and you should come up with an answer of 1.006 times 10 to the negative second quarts. You go ahead and double check your work. 9.519 centimeters cubed matches 1 centimeter cubed, which is equivalent to 1 milliliter. 1 milliliter matches 10 to the third milliliters, which is equivalent to 1 liter, which matches 1 liter, which is equivalent to 1.057 quarts. Again, you plug that into your calculator, and you should get the same answer of 1.006 times 10 to the negative second quarts. Alright. The next two problems are going to be slightly different than the first three that we completed. They are different in the aspect that they have a unit per another unit as the final answer. As you can see in the first problem, I'll go ahead and write it. So we have 6.53 times 10 to the negative third milligrams per microliter, converting that to ounces per gallon. As I was saying, you can see that this right here is what I'm talking about, a unit per unit. You're going to, so when you have these problems, you're going to break them into two parts. For this problem, you will be converting milligrams to ounces and microliters to gallons. You also will, the diagonal in the first three problems went from the top to the bottom, but in this case, in the second step, you will go from the bottom to the top. You will also be matching the equivalents vertically, but this time you will be going from the top to the bottom rather than the bottom to the top. This will all make a lot more sense as I'm doing the problem, so I'm going to go ahead and rewrite this nicely for you. So again, we have 6.53 times 10 to the negative third milligrams per microliter, converting that to ounces per gallon. This is our given, and this is the units asked for. So that is the direction in which we will be going while solving this problem. We will write what we are given, 6.53 times 10 to the negative third milligrams per microliter, or milligrams over 1. This is the first part, and we will solve that just as we traditionally would as the other problems. So we match the unit specified, which is milligrams. We will match that diagonally. So we have 10 to the third milligrams is equal to 1 gram. Matching those vertically. Diagonally, we will match grams, and we have 453.6 grams is equal to 1 pound. Those matching vertically. Again, diagonally, we will match the units. So we have 1 pound is equal to 16 ounces. Matching them vertically. As you have noticed, we were looking for ounces. So we have finished the first portion, which is what we are traditionally accustomed to doing. For me personally, I always make a little slash right here to remind myself and to signify that I'm moving on to the second step, which is where it happens to vary a little bit. So on the second step, what we are going to do is we are going to write the unit that we are given. In this case, it's microliters. So we put this at the top. Now, as to how you do this, everybody might have their own traditional way of doing it. For me, I kind of do a system of trial and error, and the more you practice, the more you will understand and the easier it will come. So I happen to have the knowledge that 10 to the 6th microliters is equal to 1 liter. You can see how this is different than what we did in the first problem, the first portion of the problem per se. We also are going to match them diagonally, but as I said in the beginning, we'll match them from bottom to top. So we will match liters right here, and we will put 1 liter is equal to 1.057 quarts. Matching them vertically again, but from this time, top to bottom. Matching this diagonally, we will have quarts on the top, and we know that 4 quarts is equal to 1 gallon. Gallon is the unit that we were looking for. So now we can multiply everything on the top and divide it by everything on the bottom. Once you calculate that, you should get 8.72 times 10 to the negative first ounces per gallon. My answer is in scientific notation, and I will go ahead and double check everything I've done. 6.53 times 10 to the third milligrams matches 10 to the third milligrams, which is equivalent to 1 gram. 1 gram matches 453.6 grams, which is equivalent to 1 pound. 1 pound matches 1 pound. 1 pound is equivalent to 16 ounces. The first portion was done properly. Now we move to the second part of our problem. We take the unit, and we set that on the top, and then we put its equivalent on the bottom. So 10 to the 6 microliters is equal to 1 liter. We match 1 liter to 1 liter. 1 liter is equivalent to 1.057 quarts. We match quarts to quarts. 4 quarts is equal to 1 gallon. Again, you plug that into your calculator, and you should end up with 8.72 times 10 to the negative first ounces per gallon. I'll go ahead and show you one more of these problems. And it looks like we have 32 miles per hour. And we are going to convert that to centimeters per second. 32 miles per hour is our given. And we are going to convert that to centimeters per second. So, the first portion of this problem, we will write 32 miles over 1. We need to match that diagonally. So we know that 1 mile is equal to 5,280 feet. Matching those equivalents vertically. We know that, so we got to write feet, and we know that 1 foot is equivalent to 12 inches. Matching those vertically. We need to match inches diagonally, so we have 1 inch is equal to 2.540 centimeters. Centimeters is the unit that we were looking for. So we are now done with the first portion of the problem. As I said before, I add the slash to know that I'm now moving on to the second portion of the problem. We will take hours, which is our given unit, and we will write that on top. So we have an hour. As I said, from your knowledge, you basically come up with a trial and error as to how you can take the beginning and get where you want to get to. So I know that 1 hour is equal to 60 minutes. We match this diagonally, but for the second portion, going from the bottom to the top. So I know that 1 minute is equivalent to 60 seconds. As you can see, seconds is the unit that we were looking for. And now we multiply everything on the top and divide it by everything on the bottom. Once you do that, you should end up with the answer of 1.43 times 10 to the third centimeters per second. As I said, my answer is in scientific notation, and it's important to verify everything you did. So we have 32 miles, which the units match 1 mile. 1 mile is equal to 5,280 feet. Feet matches 1 foot. 1 foot is equal to 12 inches. 12 inches matches 1 inch. 1 inch is equal to 2.540 centimeters. That was the first portion. Now we move to our second portion. We put 1 hour over its equivalent, which is 60 minutes. We match diagonally from bottom to top, 60 minutes to 1 minute. We write its equivalent vertically. 1 minute is equal to 60 seconds. Again, plug that into your calculator to verify, and you should end up with 1.43 times 10 to the third centimeters per second. Go ahead and erase this for you. And I would just like to say thank you for watching my video. I hope you find it beneficial throughout the course of your chemistry class.